folks, welcome to the video. I'm making this video because I've had some people ask me questions about the wooden cab on our Model A pickup, and had one guy ask me to do a video on it, so I decided I'd put together all the photos and a couple little video clips that I've got. This is what the truck looked like when I got it. My uncle got it and took all the sheet metal parts off to put on a Model A car frame to make a pickup instead of a 1.5 ton truck. And I bought what was left over from him, thinking that I was going to cut it down and make a doodlebug out of it. There was some 1931 car fenders and the aprons that go under the fenders there. They'll be in a picture coming up. He threw those in with it, and there was a roof panel off of something up on the back of it. I ended up using all of that stuff eventually. This is the day we brought it home. Old Cowl, our 1966 Chevy, got to pull it home. And once we got it home, it didn't take very long before I decided that I wanted to see if I could get it running. It runs. Oh, we killed it.
That's all right.
At this point, I decided I wanted to start putting together the parts that we did have and looking for some more parts, because even if I was going to build a doodlebug, I was going to need more parts. I found this hood online in New York, and they shipped it to me on a Greyhound bus, so I had to drive to Iowa City to the Greyhound bus station to pick it up. I don't remember where I got that radiator shroud from. It was online too, but I can't remember where I got it. The cowl I bought from Sandpoint, Idaho. The guy put it on a pallet and shipped it to us, and it took over 2 weeks in transit. I kept checking the tracking, and it stopped at like 30 different places on its way here. But once we got the cowl installed, it was really starting to come together and look a little bit more like a truck, and that's when I decided that I wanted to build it back into a truck instead of cutting it down and making a doodlebug out of it. So I started looking for a cab for it, but finding a cab, especially on a budget, was easier said than done. And it ended up just sitting around at my dad's for a few years. In the summertime, I'd start it up once or twice a summer, let it run for a while, but it sat around for 3 or 4 years. In the spring of 2016, I saw a picture in a book that said that the early Model AR 1.5 ton trucks were shipped with no cab on them, and you could build your own cab, and that's when I had the idea that we would build a wooden cab on it. I had a whole bunch of rough cut wooden lumber from the place that I used to work. They got parts shipped in these giant crates, and we'd bust them down, and I had brought home a lot of the lumber, so I had all the lumber I'd need to build the cab, and it was all rough cut lumber, so it looked authentic to the time period. We used that metal roof that was with the truck when I got it. I don't know what it was made to fit. It was the right width at the front, but it was way too wide at the back. We had to cut it and bend the back edges of it in to make it fit the right width for a Model A cab. But it worked pretty good, and it made a good roof on there. It's all one-piece steel. There's a shot of the bench seat that we were building. And there's the tires that cost more than the whole rest of the truck. To be honest, though, my dad bought the tires. I was looking for used tires, and one day he just said, when it comes time for tires, we'll have tires for it. And he bought the tires and tubes and liners. But there is more money in tires and tubes than there is in the whole rest of the truck. I wanted to build my back window so it would hinge open, and that's a nice thing when you're building your own cab from scratch. You can make it however you want it to be. So I've got a back window that swings open, and then when it closes, that little rod comes down, and now there's a bracket with a pin in there to hold it shut tight. There's the first picture with the windshield in it. The windshield that promptly broke. It was only in there a couple weeks and it got 2 big cracks on the driver's side of it, but it's still that way. We've never changed it again. There's just a couple pictures when we pulled it outside and washed some of the shop dust off of it. And then the next couple pictures are the rails that Dad built on the flatbed. They look pretty nice. And this is the point when I made my first video of the truck, the first time driving it since 1960. I'll link to that video at the end of this one. And this is just a shot of it heading down to Mount Pleasant to the Midwest Old Threshers the first year that we had it all together. Dad was pulling it and I was driving old Cowl pulling a load of engines. Now this is pretty interesting. I ran into a lady here in town that said, we've got some old car parts out at my dad's farm. If you want to come out and look at them, maybe you could tell us what they are. There were some Model T parts and we bought a few parts from them. But I saw some spoked wheels in the corner of the shed that matched my Model A wheels. So I said, do you have all 4 of those wheels? And her husband said, yeah, the other ones are on that wagon out back. And when we went out there and looked, it was another early 1928 Model A Ford that had been cut down and made into a trailer. So it had an original flatbed that was right for my Model A Ford. We ended up buying it from him, bringing it home. You can see the back of it was full of dirt and debris, and I scooped all of that out. In this picture, Dad was pulling it over so we could back it down the hillside and get it running downhill to hose it all out. And when we hosed it out, it did turn out that there was still some wood left underneath of it after all those years sitting with the dirt and debris in it. We ended up taking off the flatbed that was on there and putting this original box back on the truck. That's just a picture of me loading some stuff up in it to take down to our fair that year. I hauled a truckload of gas engines down to our fair in the back of the Model A. I like to put it to work, use it for hauling stuff. The next couple of pictures show it loaded down with firewood. I load it up with firewood in the fall and back it into the carport up next to the house. Then the firewood's in out of the weather, and so is the Ford. So if you're interested in this kind of stuff, please hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll be making more videos in the future. Thanks for watching.